Hi, my name is Mike Coval. I'm an in-person personal trainer and online health and fitness consultant. My biggest challenge before I started working with Sameem was having consistent engagement with people via the content that I was creating, knowing how to generate leads and convert those leads. It was wildly inconsistent and basically non-existent. There's multiple things I did that weren't working. One of the things, I got myself in the habit of posting every single day before I started working with Sameem because I knew I had to do a better job of that. I wasn't sure how to create content that was going to convert and start engaging people and having conversations, but I just knew I had to make that a habit. So I did that, and it was crickets. I hired multiple coaches to help me out with this process, and it was very generic coaching. Didn't really feel like it was tailored to me and my needs, or it really taught me much of anything. Total of 4 or 5 different coaches and groups that I went through, over $70,000 that I spent before I actually connected with Sameem, and he helped make a difference with what I was doing. And honestly, it was frustrating because I have been doing in-personal training for 2008, so 17 years. And I've been very successful with my in-person business. But for the online side of things, I've been working through coaches and trying to build this out for the last 5 years and hadn't been successful. After about 3.5 years, I had my 4th coach or 3rd coach or whatever it was that I went through, I actually stopped hiring and seeking out more help. I got burned out. I was frustrated. I kept trying to build what I was doing on my own, but I wasn't about to invest the kind of money that I had been investing to go through that same process. And about a year after I made that decision, that's when I found Sameem, and I knew at that point I still needed help. I just needed to find the right person that I could trust and believe that could help me. My biggest fear when I started working with Sameem was, again, is this going to be another process, another coach that I work with? Am I going to end up wasting all this time, energy, and money? And so I saw one of Sameem's ads. I clicked on it. I watched the intro video. I signed up for a call. And after having my call with Sameem, I was convinced that he could help me, that he was going to be that guy. One of the things that made Sameem unique was his marketing system. So it wasn't like any other group that I've been a part of before, where it's like copy and paste this, the one successful person or those 2 successful people that we've had out of the hundreds and thousands of coaches that we've had in this group, go do what they do for reasons that they were probably successful beyond their systems, and it was more so of their just marketability in general as them as a person. But Sameem would teach you the why behind what you're doing, which was so powerful, especially for somebody like me, to understand why I'm doing what I'm doing so I could go in there and execute and not feel lost as I go through that whole process. Then the experience of going to paid advertising, that was uncomfortable. That really was. I had no knowledge. Anytime I had run paid ads in the past, it was just, basically clicking a bunch of buttons and hoping for the best and running those ads. And obviously, I didn't have success with that. So I wasn't completely sour on paid advertising. I knew it had to work. I just didn't know how to make it work. When I started working with Sameem on that, I had a lot of confidence because of his expertise and success he's had with himself and his clients that he's worked with, which made me feel a lot better about going into it and investing that money so I could see that return. Perhaps the best thing about the group is the level of support. The level of support I've gotten from Sameem has been unlike any other coach I've ever had. In fact, you could take all the coaches that I've had for scaling my online business, put them all together as far as their level of effort and care that they've had for helping me, and it still wouldn't match Sameem alone. And that's what makes this group different. This is what makes Sameem different, is I can tell he genuinely cares about my success, and it bothers him when we might run an ad and it's not performing the way that it should be or that he expected it to. And then we go back and we keep tweaking and tweaking and tweaking it until it works. And it's not even just about the level of support that he's given me, but also the people in the group. I can't speak to what he's done individually with everybody, but I see what he does within the group, and to go out of his way and make this the best experience that he possibly can for us. The other thing that makes this group unique is the fact that I can have direct access to him and have questions that I can ask, whether that be in the Slack channel or having direct access to him in the Slack channel and having those one-on-one conversations to help get clarity on what I need to be doing. And because of this level of support, this expertise, and this guidance that I've been getting, I just hit my first 10K month. And in fact, I did 13K while running a full-time in-person business. The thing that surprised me a lot and was one of the most valuable things for me was just the fact that they teach you the true marketing behind what you're doing and systems for advertising to attract your ideal client. It's honestly got me feeling a lot more relieved than when I first started, because there was a lot of pressure to be successful with this, because I had tried and spent so much money in the past with trying to make this work. My goal is to partially retire my wife. You can imagine what kind of pressure that brings with trying to be successful with this. Another thing that I appreciated too, like, I love coaching in person. Will not give that up. Not a single time did Sameem ever tell me that I needed to stop doing it. Not once. And every other group I've been a part of, every single one of those coaches said you need to stop doing your in-person training. You'll never be successful doing it online while you're doing in person. So if you've had that similar experience where, you've been in different coaching groups and you've been told the same thing, or you run an in-person business and you're trying to have a successful online business at the same time, put your trust in Sameem. You're not only going to have access to his expertise and his care and his guidance, but you're going to learn the ins and outs of marketing and advertising and what needs to be done in order for you to be successful. Stop your search right now for another coach, because I can tell you, after going through a handful of them, you're not going to find one better. And definitely don't try to do it on your own. I tried that. All I did was work myself into the ground with no results. I can assure you, if you put your trust in Sameem and work with him and his team, you'll start building momentum and find the success that you're looking for.